Victory or Death Starfighters, my name is Carlin Jones, and this is a Starfighter full episode review. And today we are starting a new show, and I know I'm still currently watching other shows at the moment, which will not delay this one because this show is something that I've kind of always been curious about for many years now, but I could never find this show for the longest. There's nowhere where I could find this show. It's not on YouTube. Well, it's probably on Amazon, but with certain DVDs and TV shows, it's if it's rare, they'll price it way out the box. So today we are watching the 1998 comedy kind of drama sports show called Sports Night. This was created by Aaron Sorkin. If you don't know who that is, he is let's just say an accomplished writer in Hollywood who has written The Social Network, which I thought that was a pretty good movie, and I'm sure he's written other stuff, but that's all I've seen of him. I mean, what else did he write? Did he do Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? I have a feeling he didn't do that one. I don't know. All right, listen, Aaron Sorkin, I've always, because I do consider myself a writer as well. I've, reading screenwriting books, watching screenwriting videos, he's always one of the number one examples of this is how you do this correctly, this is how you do this is how you do that. And I've seen his interviews, and I know he said he grew up in a background of theater, or his parents was in theater. He always went to the theater, and his main go-to or his thing that he's really good at is dialogue. So I'm expecting this show to have some pretty good dialogue. But yeah, I don't know too much about this show, which is great because I get to go into it blind. I do know that Sabrina Lloyd is in this show, and if you don't know who Sabrina Lloyd is, Sabrina Lloyd was the main cast of one of my favorite sci-fi shows of all time called Sliders that came out in 1995. Sliders is an amazing sci-fi series. If you love sci-fi, I highly suggest you check it out. But she's in this show. I don't have no idea what character she's playing or how she's going to be portraying it, so that's going to be fun. This episode runtime is about 22 minutes 23 seconds, and once you start watching a lot of TV, you can kind of tell what type of content is going to be, or at least what type of information they're going to give within each episode just by the duration of it. When a show is definitely 22 minutes long, it's definitely a lot of stuff or it should be a lot of stuff that's show it, don't say it. So there's going to be a lot of action, I feel or a lot of characters in motion doing things. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it because I don't know it that well. I also do know one of the actors is in West Wing as well. He's a main character in West Wing, which I've never seen that show, but my girlfriend's sister is obsessed with that show. So yeah, let's just get into it. So again, runtime is 22 minutes 23 seconds long. Follow along with the time code and watch it along with me. You can find this show again. You can try Amazon. They might have it. You might have to pay for it a little bit, but yeah. If you can find this show, then please follow along. So we're gonna start this episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One thing I do know about this show, it doesn't have a laugh track, which I love. That sometimes I feel certain sitcoms or certain shows are ruined by the laugh tracks itself. Black Books is an example. Although Black Books is hilarious, it's a British comedy, but that show would be so much funnier if it didn't have a laugh track. So I used to do this for a living. Not sports talk, whatever, but definitely working. Actually, yes, I exactly did this for a living at a certain point in time. I think I was still in college and I did this. I used to work for a TV show that was like a broadcast station that was like all political, like political shows. I think it was called Lawmakers. I definitely didn't like it. Well, I mean, it was cool. You know, it's whatever. It just was not exciting. Hey, that actor is a legend. So this should be interesting because I grew up with, or I have such of a film family, television family, that I grew up in this environment with. Yeah, this is pretty true. Trust me, I used to work in this environment where shit was like hectic. Hectic. People just panicking every freaking minute. And then right when the show starts, everyone is just calm. They're like, okay, here we go. Hmm. I love that there's no opening credits. I've said that many times again. For a pilot episode, no opening credits, no intro. I don't want to spoil anything. Or I don't want it to spoil anything. That actress looks familiar. Was that a laugh track I heard? Oh, this show does have a laugh track. What? So weird. This is it's like it's not filmed like it should be a sitcom, but somehow it's supposed to be. Like this shouldn't have a laugh track. It really shouldn't. Hmm. Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals were pretty trash back then. They're actually good now. Oh, I know that actor. Yeah, the one who's talking right now. Oh my god, he was in such a good mini series that I watched a few years ago called The Lost Room. Oh, so good. I recommend it if you love fantasy, like a fantasy mystery kind of thing. 11 to 17-year-olds watch this in the morning. Uh, what? You better go to HR and fire his ass. That wasn't funny. Well, it's not really your decision to make. If the studio wants to do that, they'll do that. So, if you guys remember back in 2001, where there was a show called Scrubs, and I love Scrubs. More I watch it now, I was like, wow, I had no like, I didn't really acknowledge how whitewashed that show was, but I do love Scrubs. Scrubs was really good from its drama and its comedy with such a good balance of both, and the fact that it didn't have a laugh track. Imagine if Scrubs had a laugh track. That would be so annoying. Right? And maybe, maybe some people would like Scrubs with a laugh track. Maybe it would have worked if it was shot a certain way. This show isn't shot in a way that it should have a laugh track. This is kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, the way it's shot, in a sense. but with a laugh track, which would make it less funny. So this show, I know it got canceled season 1, so that's this entire episode. I'm trying to figure out why. You determine the worth of a season through the pilot episode, and then the worth of the season, or for the worth of the entire show, you can, or series, excuse me, you can tell from the whole first season. Yeah, so that's Sabrina Lloyd, the one who's like super preppy. Well, I could answer that. Sometimes I look at like GMs for certain franchises, especially like WNBA and like NHL, and I'm like, I can easily do that job. And then a lot of this like analyst talks, like hearing people talk about it, like certain podcasts and stuff, which is why I'm starting another podcast about like just women's hockey, just talking about the PHF, which is a league. I feel like I can talk hockey just as good as what the other people do, honestly. This is destroying this show. The laugh track and it's destroying it. I don't think this. I don't. Aaron Sorkin wrote this. I know he said he created it, but clearly there is not a collaborative creative process along with Sorkin and whoever wrote it and who was ever like producing this show. If Sorkin wrote it, yeah, clearly because this. I don't think this show knows what it's trying to be. And I'm sure no pilot episode of a TV show knows, or no first season of a show really truly knows. But generally, that pilot episode, you can kind of get a sense of what's like. All right, is this show gonna tell me it has heart? Is it gonna tell me it has like grit? Does it tell me it's like, it's like it doesn't care and it's gonna like wow you or shock you or whatever. I just don't think the show knows what it is. I just think it's existing because somebody had the opportunity to make a show and get it produced, and that's why it's here. Well, dude, that's mainstream sports uh, journalism, bro. Dude, that's all it is. Are you kidding me? That's all Sports Center is. If you don't like it, you gotta go to a smaller network. Why is he so upset? It's like you can't do your fucking job without him. See, I feel like the show should be this. More serious, tiny bit comedy, no laugh track. Stop interrupting us, lady. What the hell do you want? Michael Jordan better be making a game winner. Huh. Maybe that guy was right. Cause I'm like in my like mid late 20s. I don't care about this. What? Hmm. Let her do her job. Ah, get rid of the fucking laugh tracks. Yeah, that's not funny. Google it, fool. Why would you do that? Why would you do that there? What? Okay, I'm pretty sure this is where the show's about to end. Yeah, 30 seconds. Interesting. So, and obviously hindsight's 2020, right? We know that the show didn't last past one season. Um Personally, if I was like a producer, I own my own studio and someone gave this to me as a pilot and I'm just like, "Hey, we want like are you interested in buying the show? Do you want to run it on your TV station?" Honestly, I would just say no. I honestly felt like if this was in the screenwriting stage, like in the writing stage, if this was like this so-called final draft should have been, well, it's see this is where it gets interesting because a lot of scripts for shows and movies are completely different from how they're made, right? And you see it all the time from like the scripts from Netflix that are actually really good. I enjoy reading a lot of scripts from Netflix, and then when you watch them and see how it's made, it's just like, what is this? This is like complete opposite of what I was envisioning. It just seems like some mainstream goo. But I just felt like this show was. I bet the writing of this show had something. It had something special. It had something unique, and I felt like I felt like I was uncovering a fossil a little bit while watching the show. Like I feel like this show should be something unique, but I feel like whoever produced it, whatever studio ran it, and wanted to say like, hey, you need this in there in order to be marketable. You need this in order for people to watch. You need this. You need that. You need this. I feel like whoever was in charge of putting that stuff in doomed this show to be whatever, right? And I looked on IMDb. I saw this show is like rated like 8.2 or whatever, and there are people who liked it, but I don't know. This is I always give something a pilot episode, right? And maybe depending if I like on the fence about it, I will give it a second episode. Excuse me, but I don't know if I will give this one a second episode because again, that laugh track is brutal. The show really, really shouldn't have a laugh track. I also felt like it was a little bit miscast, a little bit. I know it's a pilot, right? But I mean, at the same time, I didn't really get really much of a chemistry from the actors. I just felt like they were just actors. I think Sabrina Lloyd. I love Sabrina Lloyd. Oh, I will always love Sabrina Lloyd, and I felt like how she portrayed that character was good, but I felt like there definitely could have been someone else a lot better for that. Because I felt like she acted fine, but she didn't really look the part of that. And I feel like that kind of role should be towards, either male or female, like a super young, like I'm trying to work my way up, I'm trying to learn about the business kind of character. Because working in that environment personally, you kind of you see that all the time. Hell, I was even that, but yeah, I think the casting is just. I think the casting is off. And again, I don't think these actors perform bad. I just think there are other actors they could have gotten that would have had better chemistry with each other. And we could have, I don't know, it just felt something. Like, even with the two main actors, I guess the two anchors, like, debate back and forth at each other, being angry at each other. I was just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to care or anything, because yeah, it's said that YouTube been working for quite a while, but we haven't really seen that. This is kind of like, this whole episode is like a day in the life, right? So it's just a day in your life. So I'm not getting that sense that you guys had a lot of chemistry or have a lot of chemistry, or work for so many years together. Like, I just don't buy into that. And I don't know if I blame that on the writing for putting more stuff in, like them hanging out more or whatever, but the chemistry for the actors aren't there. So I guess that's what I would blame casting director and actors a little bit. But interesting. Yeah, I think this pilot episode, I'm gonna give it like a 6.4, a 6.5. Again, it really does feel like it's like I'm saying like a lot. It really does feel like I am uncovering a fossil. Like I'm like, oh, this used to be something really cool. This used to be something really cool. This used to be something very special, but it's not anymore after it was made. And certain producers, certain creators put their hands on it and added what they felt like it needed to have in order for the show to be successful. In hindsight, 2020, the show wasn't successful. And I know on IMDb it's like highly rated, and then it has like really good reviews and all that stuff. But this show is one of very many shows that went on for maybe a season or two, and it's completely forgotten. Sports Night is 100% forgotten. So with being passionate about TV shows and movies, it always saddens me to see a lot of work go into a TV show. And personally, I know how much work goes into stuff like this. And for everyone to have blood, sweat, and tears over it, and for writers and creators to really work on this and really take the time to think about it and be passionate about that, and you make something, and then after it, it's just like no one thinks about it. Like, imagine that. Imagine making something you're really passionate about, right? And you want to show it to the world. You want someone to feel a certain way about it, and they will look at it, and then they'll forget it in T-minus the next day, or maybe the next year, and they'll never jog in their memories again. I don't know. That's pretty sad. But yeah, I just wish this show was a little bit more memorable. I just wish it didn't have a laugh track, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, thinking of like another podcast I can get into, right? But yeah, so that is the full episode review. That was Sports Night. That was the pilot episode. The runtime was 22 minutes, 23 seconds. And yeah, let me know if there's another TV show you guys want me to watch, and I'll watch it. And I will see you on the next one. Until then, victory or death, Starfighters.